Hello guys, back again together with me here. In this video, I will discuss a fantasy movie released in 2020, Monster Hunter. The movie, which was adapted from the game in the same title, told a story about an army captain who was trapped in another dimension, full of giant monsters. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified on our new video. The film starts with a scene in a place called New World. A ship was sailing on sand. When the ship was moving fast, suddenly a large monster known as the Diablos came. The giant rhinoceros-like Diablos attacked the ship and wreaked havoc. Due to Diablos' attack, the ship almost capsized and several crew members became victims. Luckily, Diablos left after getting the prey. When the ship crashed and returned to speed, a man was also accidentally thrown from the ship due to Diablos' attack. He then landed on a stretch of sand in an unconscious state. Let's call this man a hunter. The next scene shows a group of elite UN troops or rangers called Team Alpha in a desert. This team is on a mission to search for the missing Bravo team in the area. When they arrived at the location, a ranger named Link said that the Bravo team had just disappeared in that place as seen from the tire tracks of their vehicle, which stopped at the point. Seeing the strangeness, the Alpha team was confused because it was impossible for an armored vehicle to just disappear without a trace. While observing the location where the Bravo team disappeared, suddenly a ranger saw the appearance of a storm. Artemis asked all his members to get into the car. Their vehicle was moving fast, but unfortunately it was not fast enough to avoid the storm. The storm quickly hit the car, and all the team members fell into the abyss. Miraculously, the storm opened a portal to a new world, and the members of the Alpha team entered it. Now they were stranded in a desert that is very foreign and not on the map. The Alpha team was confused and didn't realize that they had entered a new world until they find the vehicle belonging to the previously lost Bravo team. The vehicle was burned to the ground along with all the team members who were also scorched. They found signs of fight from several shell casings which spreaded, but strangely there was no trace of the enemy there. The Alpha team walked through the desert hoping to find their way home. On the way, they were surprised by the appearance of a giant animal skeleton. While observing it, suddenly an arrow shot into one of the skeletons. It turned out that the arrow was released by the hunter from a distance as a warning of the arrival of a monster. Seeing a hunter, the Alpha team fired at him from a distance, but the captain asked them to hold the fire back. Then suddenly Diablos appears and attacks the Alpha team. With their weapons, the Alpha team tried to attack the monster, but it didn't work. Two of their members became victims and the rest hid in the cave. Later, the Alpha team discussed what they should do. While they were discussing, suddenly a spider-like monster called Nerscylla appeared. The monster directly stabbed the captain, Artemis, until he was unconscious. The Rangers tried to save Artemis, but since there was no pulse, they thought Artemis was dead and left her. The Nerscylla flock kept coming, captured and killed all the soldiers. Artemis, who had been left behind by his men, was still alive, and when she was about to wake up, a monster attacked him again. The monsters carried Artemis and the rest of the team into their nest. Artemis, who was still alive, was trying to get out of the monster's net. She then found a bag full with equipment belonging to one of her colleagues. She took some light sticks and bullets to protect herself. While walking down the monster's nest, she saw several eggs containing monster fetuses. He also meets a fellow ranger named Link who is still alive. They both tried to get out of the nest. But, again they have to deal with the monsters. Artemis tried to dispel the monsters with only a light stick and a gas lighter. Unfortunately, Link couldn't survive and was killed by a monster. Seeing the incident, Artemis tried to save herself. She ignited a fire using the gas and light stick he had and burned the two monsters that were about to attack him. Luckily, she escaped from the monster's nest by exploding bullets in the burning monster's body. With his injured leg, Artemis climbed the hill in the middle of the sand. Arriving at the top of a large hill, he saw a pile of stones. He then threw one of the stones into the sand. Unexpectedly, Diablos was still there. The monster came out of the sand when it heard a stone being thrown. Surprised to see a monster, Artemis hid behind the rocks. Artemis began to explore the surrounding area and she found a location where there were many shipwrecks. While observing the wreck, the hunter suddenly appeared and they started fighting. They continued to fight until the hunter was stabbed by Artemis, but at the end of the fight, Artemis lost. The hunter tied up Artemis and took her to a cave where she took refuge. The next day, the hunter got up and went out to observe his surroundings. When he returned, he saw that the rope that bound Artemis had been untied. Suddenly Artemis hit the hunter from behind and they fought back to the monster's nest. During the fight, the hunter almost fell into the pit of the monster's nest, but Artemis helped him. After that incident, they decided to work together, even though they didn't understand each other's language. Artemis also realized that to return to her world, she had to reach the tower in the middle of a lightning storm. Inevitably, they had to cross the desert to get there and their only obstacle was Diablos. The hunter then told Artemis that they could immobilize Diablos with the Nersilla's venom Nersilla. In the next scene, they try to catch a Nersilla by making Artemis bait. Then, the monsters were successfully trapped and attacked by hunters in order to get the claws. The next day, the hunters cut off the monster's body parts and removed the poisonous parts. Managed to get what they needed, they began to make weapons using the Nersilla's poison and drum throwers, which would later be used to trick the monster's attention. Artemis then found an armor to protect her body and she also found a twin sword that can emit fire when they stick together. She learned the technique of using the sword by training with hunters. The day came when they were about to pass through the desert. Artemis and the hunters pulled the catapult and dropped the drum away from the location of the car belonging to the Artemis team. Diablo was attracted by the sound and movement of the drum bait and immediately chased after. Immediately, both of them ran towards the car, but while running, Diablos noticed their presence and immediately turned back to chase them. By the time they got to the car, Diablos was already behind them, and in order to help Artemis get into the car, the hunter thought to be bait. The monster finally caught up to the hunter, and when he fell down due to a Diablo's attack, he shot the monster's eye with a poisoned arrow. Diablos couldn't see clearly, so Artemis started shooting at the monster with a rifle and used the missile launcher that she found in the car to blow up Diablos. Unfortunately, despite being burned by the missile explosion, Diablos was still alive. The hunters came and were already above Diablo's head. He tried to stab the sword into the monster's head. But, instead of killing the monster, he was knocked down and got unconscious. Seeing that, Artemis immediately ran over and used the rope thrower in his hand to get over Diablo's head. When she managed to get above his head, Artemis again stuck the sword in Diablo's head until the monster died. Because the hunter was injured and unconscious, Artemis finally took some of the monster's skin to make a board. The plank he used to pull wounded hunters through the desert. Luckily, the hunter is still able to be treated and saved by Artemis. Then, they continued their journey and reached an oasis. Feeling thirsty, Artemis told the hunter that she wanted to drink the water from the spring and the hunter allowed it, but suddenly a monster appeared and almost attacked her. The hunter immediately cut the monster's throat to death and said that Artemis was the bait while laughing. Later on the night, while Artemis was sleeping and the hunter was doing his worship, a monster flew past. The monster called Rathalos was spitting fire and caused the swarm of monsters running around, almost harming Artemis and the hunter. Fortunately, they were saved by the admiral who came suddenly with his team. Artemis joined the fight and got rid of the monsters that were running around with the admiral. After the chaos was over, Artemis thanked the admiral who apparently understood the language. Instead of receiving a thank you, the admiral beat Artemis unconscious. When she woke up, Artemis was kept in the cage, but she managed to break the cage out. While trying to escape, she meets Palico, an admiral's assistant who looks like a cat in the kitchen. Soon the hunter and admiral appeared, apologizing for misunderstanding Artemis and imprisoning her. After that, the admiral explained that he and his team were actually on a mission to investigate a building called the Sky Tower. The tower, which is an ancient relic located on the top of a hill. The tower controls the lightning storm which creates portals between two worlds. Admiral was worried that Artemis's world would be affected by his own and vice versa, causing chaos in both worlds. Because previously there had been people from the Artemis world who had come to his world. That was why the admiral could speak and understand Artemis's language. The admiral also said that reaching the tower was not that easy because the tower was guarded by a vicious monster called Rathalos who could spit fire. The admiral asked Artemis to help him fight with his team so she could return to her world. In the morning, the admiral, Artemis and the rest of the team set off for the tower. When they almost reached the tower at night, Rathalos began to appear in the darkness. The fight finally happened. The dragon-like monster attacked the team members and burned them. The monster also almost attacked Artemis and the hunter, but they were saved by the admiral. The battle continues, and all members of the group unite to attack the monster. Artemis also attacked continuously and had time to hit the monster's wings. However, Artemis was accidentally pushed and almost hit by the monster's flames. She fell to the edge of a cliff and a portal opened. Artemis was thrown into the portal, and when she realized he had returned to her world. Not long after, a military plane passed by, and she was brought on board to be treated. While on her way back to the base, suddenly Rathalos appeared through a portal and immediately attacked the plane. The soldiers were shocked and tried to attack the monster. Unfortunately, the weapons of advanced military forces are not strong enough to defeat the monster. In fact, this monster managed to defeat all the troops and blow up their planes. Only Artemis was left alone. She looked for a weapon that she could use and found a lighter bomb. With the launcher and the lighter, she tried to kill the monster by detonating the bomb when the monster's mouth opened and caused explosion. Artemis thought Rathalos was dead, but he wasn't. The monster rose again and almost attacked Artemis. Luckily at that time, the hunter came and shot the monster repeatedly, causing an explosion until he found the monster's weak point on the neck. He shot the neck directly so the monster exploded and died. Artemis seemed very happy to know that his friend had come to help. But it's not over yet. The admiral came after them and said that he had to prevent the monsters from his world from coming to the world of Artemis. After that, a portal opened and the sky tower appeared from a distance. Artemis could have stayed in his world, but she decided to join the monster hunters and return to the new world. Now their main plan is to turn off the sky tower so that the teleportation portal between worlds cannot reappear. Simultaneously with the emergence of the portal, a large black dragon named Gormagala appeared, and they began to fight for once again. And the movie ends. Okay, the Monster Hunter movie storyline is over. I hope you enjoy the video, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share with your friends. I'll come back with the next movie storyline. Until now, goodbye.